welcome to the first ever Zoom Planning Commission of Canyon City meeting, Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. I now call this meeting to order. I think tonight we'll skip the Pledge of Allegiance. We can all just say that in our minds while we go. That's okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Denise,
Sure.
will you call roll, please, Denise?
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. Chairman Maloney,
Here?
Commissioner Clark,
Here.
Commissioner Clement,
Here.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Here.
Commissioner Shagley,
Here.
Commissioner Moss, Dustin, and Commissioner Randy Smith.
Here. Thanks, Denise. So just to confirm, we do have a quorum since we're online. Just want to note that we do have a quorum.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 2, there's no special presentations. So we'll move on to item 2A. Public hearings, a rezoning from R2 medium density residential to R3 high density residential and minor subdivision seeds property at 2140, 2150 4th Street. Applicants Christopher and Joanna McIntyre, owners Matt Koch, Cornerstone Land Surveying, consultant location southeast corner Pear Street and Orchard. I now open this public meeting. The provisions of the city municipal code, and in particular Title 17 thereof, the subdivision regulations and the comprehensive plan of the city of Canyon City are incorporated into the record of the hearing as if set forth verbatim. Patrick, can we please have a staff report?
Certainly. First of all, before I begin, can you all see the PowerPoint slide that I have up on the screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Commission. Tonight we are hearing the matter of the 2 land use requests for a property located at 2140 and 2150 Pear Street. The applicant is seeking to rezone the property from R2 medium density residential to R3 high density residential. At the same time, the applicant seeks to subdivide this property by minor subdivision. The subject property is located at the southeast corner of North Orchard Avenue and Pear Street, just before Oxford Avenue crosses westerly to intersect Central Avenue. It is approximately 1.156 acres in area, or 50,355.36 square feet, and it is a consistently level grade relative to the surrounding streets. There are 2 structures which exist on site, and each structure was constructed as duplex rental units, hence the 2 addresses assigned to the property. Construction of these units appears to date from 1948, which would have been prior to this property being annexed into Canyon City with the disincorporation of East Canyon in 1974. This area of Canyon City is characterized by large lots with relatively low density. Note how the building footprint on many of the surrounding lots is so minimized compared to the lot itself. The site is predominantly surrounded by R2 medium density residential zoning. A portion of the site at the southeast corner is bordered by an existing mobile home park. Given that R2 zoning is written such that it is intended to be more densely constructed than what is all actually shown here, it appears the R2 zoning may have been applied anticipating future re-subdivision and redevelopment in this area. It should be noted that the R3 high-density residential zoning is not without precedent in this area. To the south, 1 lot removed from the subject property is an existing R3 zone, which is accommodating multifamily residential structures proceeding southerly along North Orchard to the Canyon City hydraulic ditch property. Now, as indicated, with the introduction to these requests, the subject property is zoned R2 medium density residential. The applicant seeks to, although this use is consistent with the surrounding zoning, the designation of R2 medium-density residential zoning in this area appears to have been made in anticipation of future redevelopment opportunities. Indeed, some of the nearby properties are existing multifamily residential uses as legal non-conforming under the R2 zoning. The applicant is seeking to modify the zoning to R3 high-density residential. This zoning would not only correct the existing legal non-conforming status of the property, it would allow for construction of additional residential units on this site. Now, when evaluated against the criteria for rezoning requests as specified in section 17.14, criteria number 2 would appear to be relevant. The area for which this rezoning is requested is changed or is changing to such a degree that it is in the public interest to encourage a redevelopment of this area. Now, as you all know, in the fourth quarter of 2019, the Upper Arkansas Area Council of Governments completed a housing needs assessment for Fremont County and Canyon City in particular. It found that there is a serious need for affordable and attainable housing in this region. As previously noted, the fact that the development of this particular part of Canyon City, specifically East Canyon, involved densities well below what the R2 zone district envisions would seem to indicate that redevelopment of this area has been anticipated. A change of zoning to R3 high-density residential would certainly encourage redevelopment of the area, which brings us to the second land use request the applicant has made for this property. In addition to the request to rezone the property, the applicant has also sought approval to subdivide the property into 3 lots, calling it the Seeds Minor Subdivision. As proposed, 2 of the lots would incorporate the existing duplex structures. Each of these 2 lots would be 8,040 square feet in area, which exceeds the minimum 7,000 square feet for lot sizes for duplexes in an R3 zone. And it should be noted that the platting of these 2 duplex units onto their own lots would resolve an existing legal nonconformity for this property as well. Both of these lots would continue to have access via Pear Street, and the current use is not proposed to change. This would leave the undeveloped balance of the property to be set off as a separate lot. This proposed lot would be 34,215 square feet in area. A lot of this size in the R3 zone district could permit up to 8 dwelling units. However, no site plan has been filed for this proposed lot as of yet. At such time as a site plan is filed for this lot, we'll need to demonstrate adequate site access and internal circulation for the number of dwelling units proposed, adequacy of parking based upon the number of bedrooms per dwelling unit, building footprint layout which does not exceed the 45% coverage of the lot requirement, utility connections to serve the proposed number of units to be created, and drainage management which complies with the city's requirements. Now, however, as a Lot 3 configuration within an R3 zoning, this minor subdivision request meets the city's standards in that it is less than 10 acres in overall size and proposes to create fewer than 5 lots. Beyond some redline corrections to dedication language on this plat, the proposed subdivision can be considered for approval. And with that summary of the proposal, staff recommends that the Planning Commission cite the 4 findings of fact as amended by staff this afternoon in the emails that I sent around to you. These findings of fact confirm that the Planning Commission has the proper jurisdiction to conduct a public hearing on these land use requests and forward a recommendation to Council. Regarding the rezoning request, staff recommends that Planning Commission recommend that City Council approve the request to rezone the property located at 2140 and 2150 Pear Street from R2 medium density residential to R3 high density residential. And finally, regarding the subdivision request, staff recommends that Planning Commission recommend that City Council approve the Seeds minor subdivision request subject to the 2 conditions contained in the staff's report. That would conclude staff's presentation. As always, I'm happy to answer any questions for Planning Commission. Present to speak on behalf of this project is the consultant, Matt Koch, and the property owner, Mr. McIntyre.
Thanks, Patrick. So at this time, let's start with questions of staff from the commission. Anyone have any questions of staff? Okay, I'm not hearing any. Does The engineer, Matt, do you have anything to add to the presentation?
No, it was clear.
Okay. Does the applicant have anything to add to the presentation?
I don't think I have anything that I would like to add. I'd be welcome to answer any questions that came my way, though.
Okay, thank you. Did anyone on the commission have any questions for the applicant?
I just was wondering if, Chris, if you have been the original owner of this whole development so far with the duplexes, or did you just buy it?
I purchased the lot from Mark Campbell a year and a half ago.
Okay,
It was his intention to subdivide and develop as well, but he never made it that far. So
I was just asking because I have noted some improvements so far. I live really close to it.
and I intend to continue that.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Anyone else have any questions of the applicant or of staff?
Mr. Chairman, I do have one question. for staff.
Yes.
Has there been any additional public inquiry or feedback since the original email?
No, sir. We have not had any contacts from the public regarding this request.
And then I guess the public notice signage, that was done correctly, I guess?
I could not hear your question, sir. Could you repeat that?
Was the public notice signage installed and visible?
Yes, it was installed facing Pear Street, and it had notices for both Planning Commission and the council public hearing scheduled for April 6th.
Okay. That's all I have.
Did that answer your question, Brian? Oh,
Yes.
Dee Dee, you're on mute.
So I question for Chris, I was just curious to know if he has any idea when he would start building. Any plans?
I had thoughts that this could potentially be done by August of this year. However, given the state of
Yes.
Mhm.
the nation at this moment, it probably will be another year. My intention is to build property available to young professionals, specifically teachers, and so I would be looking to have it available for August of 2021.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission for staff or the applicant? No? Okay. So now I would ask for a motion and a second based on the findings of fact. Anyone feel free to chime in.
Do we need to read the findings of fact?
If we'd like to, we can. There was an updated findings of fact sent by Patrick earlier today.
I've got it right in front of me if you want me to.
If you could read that into the record, it'd be great. This is being recorded.
Yeah, let me
Okay.
go ahead and do that then. Findings of fact, number 1, the requested zone change to R3 density residential district is consistent with the criteria for zone changes expressed in section 17.40 of the CCMC. Number 2, the requested minor subdivision complies with the applicable subdivision regulations and is consistent with minimum lot area and requirements for the R3 high-density residential district. Number 3, adequate public notice as required by Canyon City Municipal Code has been provided. And number 4, Planning Commission has conducted a public hearing on the proposed zone change and minor subdivision request, providing adequate opportunity to concerned citizens to speak in favor or against the proposed rezoning subdivision. Can I make a suggested motion now?
Yes.
Okay. I move the Planning Commission adopt the 4 findings of fact as amended by staff earlier this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Yes, I would like to second, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Shagley. Any further discussion? Denise, will you please call roll?
Certainly. Commissioner Randy Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Shagley,
Aye.
Chairman Maloney,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Ledoux.
Aye.
That's good.
All right, thank you. That motion passes. I now need a motion and a second for recommendation to City Council.
Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Clark. I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council of the City of Canyon City approve the zoning request for the Seeds property to R3 High Density Residential.
Okay, thank you. Was that Patrick?
Yes,
No,
sir.
Mr.
Do we need to mention the 2 conditions based from staff
The
recommendation?
conditions were pertaining to the minor subdivision, not the zoning.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Commissioner Smith. Do I have a second?
I second. Smith.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Denise, please call roll.
Certainly. Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Randy Smith,
Aye.
Chairman Maloney,
Aye.
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Aye.
Commissioner Shagley.
Aye.
Is that everybody?
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you to the engineer and to the applicants for joining our teleconference tonight. So
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
we still have one item, the disposition of the minor subdivision. And the staff recommendation was for recommendation to approval for council based upon the 2 conditions in the staff report.
Okay, that's what I was asking about. That's where I was confused. So, so we do need a motion and a second to approve based on the 2 conditions. Is that correct, Patrick?
Correct.
Okay. So now I ask for a motion and a second.
I can do that as well. I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council for the City of Canyon City approve the Seeds property minor subdivision request subject to the 2 conditions contained in the staff recommendation. Is that the correct one?
That is the correct one. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Do we have a second?
I can second it.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Any further discussion on that? Denise, please call roll.
Commissioner Randy Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Chairman Maloney,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Aye.
and Commissioner Shagley.
Aye.
All right, thank you guys very much. Patrick, does that conclude it?
That concludes it. I just wanted to let you know by way of an announcement, assuming that we can all get together again in a month, April 22nd was the date I had tentatively scheduled as a new planning commissioner training session. And then for all of you veterans who want to come in and go through this again, you're more than welcome to. But that was the date I scheduled, pending the ability to get back together in person, if not. Let me know if you've got an alternate date in mind that you think might work for you if you will not be available on the 22nd.
Patrick, what time would that training be?
That would be at our regular time, 6 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Matt and Chris, for joining the meeting. We can wrap that portion up, and if we have anything else to discuss, we can. Thank you, guys. for
Thank
being
you.
on.
Thank you
very
for
much.
taking care of it.
Is everyone
Okay.
else still on?
Yes.
Yes, I still show myself on.
So Patrick just said the announcement, so that's it. Is everyone okay with the training dates
Yes.
and
That
time?
would work for me.
Yep, it works for me.
Okay. We can communicate by email, I suppose, because I think we've all just been ordered to stay at home for a while.
Yes,
For a
that's
while
what I've
longer.
heard. Yes.
Okay, so we'll just all check our emails for information going forward. Is everyone doing okay?
Yeah, I just got out of isolation.
Oh, Gary, everything okay, Paul?
Yeah, my doctor infected me. I mean, I luckily didn't catch it, but I had
Oh.
to, I'm on my 15th or 16th day now.
Oh, good.
So I'm
Local
fine.
doctor?
What was that?
Was it a local doctor?
No, it was just my surgeon. I was to have a knee replacement. It was my surgeon in the Springs.
Oh,
And
geez.
right after he saw me and did the injections and stuff, then I got the call, quarantine and sick.
Well, glad you're okay.
I am too. But it's
Anyone else have any interesting news?
Ran out of one of the
Okay, thank you all.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
thanks,
Stay well.
Patrick.
You stay safe.
Meeting adjourned, meeting adjourned, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.